Director of Worth. As in-house, Diane Nilan spent 2 years collaborating with over 300 Chicagoland school districts to help them understand and identify homelessness, and was eventually rewarded for her years of hard work when Charlie's Bill, a first-of-its-kind law guaranteeing school enrollment rights to homeless children, was passed. Her passion for homeless families was just beginning. So what was next for Diane? Well, pretty startling. In November of 2005, she, as Lisa said, sold her house, her car, most of her possessions, purchased an RV, formed an organization, Hear Us, Inc. She set out on an extraordinary adventure. Since then, Diane has traveled 141,000 miles through 48 states on her cross-country journey. Her first powerful documentary, My Own Four Walls, is distributed nationally, targeting school districts responsible for identifying and assisting homeless students. This was to be the first of several highly successful documentaries. Diane continues to travel the country. She captures the stories of this country's most vulnerable population and is a much sought-after speaker on the topic of homelessness. Diane lives wherever she and Tilly the Turtle, her affectionate name for her home, her office, and her transportation, takes them, and wherever the next story leads. As Ruth Smeltzer says, you have not lived a perfect day unless you have done something for someone who will never be able to repay you. Diane, long may you continue to experience perfect days. It was with great pleasure that we recognize Diane Nilan with the Transforming Lives Award.
I love this poem. And for those of you that can't see me in the back, I look like Lady Gaga. I've got earrings that were made out of the cupcakes and little butterflies, you know, and chicken necklace, and yeah. I want to just also explain that you have this award wrong. Okay, it is not, I'm not the one doing the transformation. I have been transformed.
Yes, right on.
And it's something that I really am very strong about. You know, I wouldn't have accepted this award if I just got to come up here and not get to explain that to you, because I do want to say some really wonderful things about Bridge Communities, which I will in a minute, about my board, and they're all here, and the name of the group is not Hear Us Inc. anymore. We changed it just officially today. Hear Us, Fear Us!
Yeah!
Because we do not take an answer to homelessness that it's the best we can do. We are certainly needing to do more. And all of you here just need to know something, and it's something that the folks at Bridge would be telling you. It's something that Lisa will not argue with me on. You know, we just need to look at homelessness differently, and that's why when I took to the road 7 years ago, not knowing what I was doing, and decided I really just wanted to make that film of kids talking about what it was like to be homeless, I didn't know what had taken over me, but all I knew was the path was kind of opened. I had some tremendous help. The money came forth to make it possible for me to, you know, actually get a little paycheck, modest as it is. But I have a board who's, you know, they've done some things that I just kind of go, wow, isn't it cool that they've done that? And I want to give special thanks to the sisters from Sacred Heart Monastery over there by Bennett and that little corner of the woods there where I hang out with Tilly when I'm in town, and how they've made it possible. So many things have come together to make it possible. But I want to talk just briefly, I couldn't actually do this a really long time, but I won't, briefly about the women, mostly women, who are out there doing what they are doing, which has no glamour. They will never be sitting in this beautiful setting having a lovely luncheon with a bunch of wonderful people, because they're trying to make sure their autistic son can get to his treatment, trying to keep out of homelessness. They're trying to get out of homelessness. I could tell the stories, and I can tell them, but they tell them better. And when I put my video camera in front of them and let them talk, they're the ones that can tell the stories about homelessness, and it's who we need to hear. I want to talk about, just briefly, the film that Laura Vasquez, my video guru, got us out at NIU, who has been able to help me become a filmmaker from a shelter director. You'd want to talk about a little gap there. That was like, whoa, what am I doing? But anyhow, we've gotten some tremendous awards and recognition for our film, and she's certainly done that. And you know, it was like her idea to do the On the Edge film, which is our second film, an extensive film about women talking about what it's like to be homeless. And I'll tell you what, every time I watch that film, and I've shown it literally from California to Congress, and many places in between. I just keep watching that film and I just go, those women are my sheroes. They are really the ones that deserve the recognition for their strength, their determination, their unconditional love for their kids. They're the ones that deserve a frickin' break. Let's get them away from homelessness and poverty. And that's our job here. That's the job of Bridge Communities. That's all of our jobs here. That's the reason you are all here. And it's something that we cannot take lightly. We absolutely cannot take lightly. I was, this is two funny short stories. I was in Disney World area last month, and I hate Disney World. I grew up in a family that we did theme park. My dad sold to theme parks and stuff like that. And I went to him like, ew, this is just a bunch of you know what. So anyhow, I'm in Disney World parked at a regular, just nondescript motel that I was told I could find some families living in motel rooms because they're homeless. And when I tell you epidemic in 2 counties, I think there's like 5 counties around Disney World, 2 of the counties has over 1,000 school-age kids in motels because their families are homeless. And if you want to go to the Hear Us website, and go to the website, listen to the story. I made a short video of the woman, one of the women in the motel rooms. And yeah, it's just an amazing story. And there's another family that I talked to. She wasn't able to do a video interview, but she shared her story that she and her husband and their little daughter had been in New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina. Boom. Okay. They got displaced, finally landed in Nashville for the floods. Boom. Got displaced. Husband and wife, 2 parents, okay. They are in food service. They're like, oh, now where do we go? You can just imagine the conversation. Their daughter, who was 7, says, Disney World! So they end up in Disney World, thinking they're in food service, they can get a job, tourist, you know, and everything is fine. They get down there, they become homeless. They're in the motel. They are so far on the edge that they rented out the other bed in their room to a man they didn't know who was needing a break in the room rate. So they are sharing a motel room along with many other people in the motels there.
Wow.
Now, to make this story just a little bit better, I just want to tell you a funny story about me and Tilly. We're in that parking lot outside the motel. There's a pond kind of like right there. And I was in this hotel or motel parking lot for about a week, got to know folks, so I was feeling pretty secure. Had the door open because it was hot down there. Had the door open one night and I'm sitting there in my chair working on my little computer and I hear, and I'm going, oh, what's that? And I'm going, whoa, what's that? Whoa, and it was right outside my door and I'm hearing this growling. And I'm thinking, oh, it's probably something. I used to be a camp counselor, so I think it's probably some of the guys coming out and kind of like giving me this little, scare. So I thought, well, what should I do? I used to teach junior high too, so that was not good. All right, somebody threw a mouse in my face. I went, oh, how cute. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to growl back. So I went, roar! Just like that. And I got my flashlight, and then I closed the door, and I didn't see anything close the door. So that was one night, and the next night I'm sitting there, same thing, working on the computer, and I hear, roar, and I'm going like, oh, that can't be the guys, So I hear this, and again, and I quickly got the light off this time, quickly got the flashlight, and I didn't see anything. So I closed the door, and the growling continued, and I'm thinking, well, it wasn't a trick that the guys were playing, because they would have just left after I closed the door. So I'm going like, whoa, what was that? So the next day I was talking to one of the guys. I said, so what could have been growling out there at me? He says, well, the pond that you're parked next to has got a 8-foot, 10-foot, and a 12-foot alligator. Oh, okay. I didn't know they growled either. So I have many adventures along the way. I've met some really tremendous people. So I just want to, on behalf of the families that you serve, countless families over the years, and the wonderful relationship, I have a little plaque that we designed. And it says, hear us and bridge communities. It doesn't say hear us, fear us, but it should. Sharing the common goal of transforming the lives of homeless families. Hear Us extends deep gratitude to Bridge Communities for your legacy of enhancing the well-being of homeless families and your willingness to empower the community.